Hey, alright. Drop Nation was good. This is man, this new info, man, that we're just surfing this wave, man. I'm just so proud of all of y'all, everybody, man, that's been, fighting their families. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this drop has been incredible, man. This wave has been incredible, and it has separated a lot of people. You know what I mean? It makes you think you crazy when you telling people that, man, East is West and West is East. And what do you flip the map and the Biblioteca de Colombina Sevilla? You saying all this stuff. So, Kings, man, the Tyrone Street, that brother got the drop. And this is just, if you surfing this wave, man, you're just seeing this coming from all angles. I don't know what Tyrone Street talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about, but we do. But we're just dropping the drop, and it's all substantiating drop. One of the dopest comments I've ever gotten thus far has been a brother saying that, man, I've never seen brothers and sisters and come together in the information the way we're witnessing all y'all come together. Hiram Martin, Lex Will, you know what I'm saying? Let Us Find the Truth, you know what I'm saying? Smooth Perspective, Hallway, CH, Winifred Holcomb, Smiles, everybody. Tyrone Street, you know what I mean? And there's so many, you know what I'm saying? I can't even, it's just popping up all over the place. I'm just so proud of the whole community. It's not about acknowledging X, Y, and Z. It's just, we're all acknowledging the whole. It's not about the individual anymore. Kingdrop is not separate from you. You're not separate from me, because we're saying the same thing. And now that we've dropped the whole Egypt, you checked out that whole Slave Vibration Thoth 6-part series. You checked out what Lex Will's dropped with the Peacock. You checked out, you know what I'm saying, everything Lex Will's dropped, just nothing but bombs, man. Just check out his last drop with the Africa Assyria drop. Wow. The F's. Wow. Just check out Lex Will's last, like, at least 4 or 5 joints. Just get some popcorn, man, and just have a Lex Will marathon. Have a Hiram Art marathon, and let Us Find the Truth marathon. You got to catch up. Have a Smiles marathon, man. So check out Kings to, you know what I'm saying, Tyrone Street. This king is dropping the Maya presence in Egypt, and how, you know what I'm saying, he's digging up documentation. I'm just sharing his drop on these Egyptian, you know what I'm saying, records, or, recordations of how they were calling these Maya, that which we are calling Maya, they were calling them their teachers. They were learning their information from the West. When we understand the oldest pyramids are here, the Grand Canyon would tell you that. The oldest pyramids are in Mexico. The largest pyramids on earth, almost 3 times the size of the Pyramid of Giza, is in Mexico. So why are we so enamored by this pyramid across the ocean when we got a pyramid in America, 2 of them, that are larger and older than the ones in Kemet? So if the oldest joints are here, then this is the old world. That's why these records are saying that this is the land that popped up first after the first flood. That it popped up before the land of Africa popped up. So everything got popping here, and the biblical stories and all that happened here. And you're going to see this drop in Egypt. He's going to take you to, you know what I'm saying, the temple, and you're going to see the Maya recordation in their temple. Wow. These were the teachers going over there teaching them high sciences from America. Negro science. Lego.
Of Maya. Stephen, please.
Well, this is a chapel or a temple of Maya. Now, the Maya was a title, not a name, of both men and women throughout dynastic times. This particular era is around the 18th dynasty, the time of the so-called King Horemheb. Now, the key thing here is 1997, Hakim came to the United States to California. Me and my research partner Bob Butter and I met him for a couple of weeks and we discussed. One of the things he discussed on a return trip to Egypt in September 1997 would be, he said, he would show us evidence of a Mayan temple in Egypt.
Mayan as in culture.
Exactly. And I said, this I never heard of. No, it's not in any text. No one has ever mentioned it. Okay, we came here. This was arranged differently then. A lot of this is new construction. It was not this way in 1997. First of all, I looked on the wall. Behind you see, that is Maya. But he looks typically Commissioned. Right. And I'm looking around, typically Commissioned. All looks. So Hakim would use the expression, well, you know, Stephen, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. He's living in Kemet. He's going to pass in Kemet, so he's betraying himself as a Commission. So I said, well, Papa, this is great, but I can't go with this in front of an academic audience. They'll laugh me off the stage.
I want to look at this image again, man. Hold on right quick. Let me back it up. I want to pause it on this image.
The expression, well, you know, Stephen, when in Rome, see, that is Maya. But he looks typically Commission.
Let me turn my brightness up. I want you to see the image. Let's meditate on that. Do you see the locks? Do you see the locks? Do you see the locks? Or do you see the lock, man? I said the eight man locks in the Maya got locks. Maya got locks. Oh, the Maya got locks. 8 men, max men, and Maya got. Come on, man. Y'all see the locks, man? Flip my camera, so anyway. Alright? That's not just some straight hair. Do you see the definition? See all this definition? Each lock has a definition. And this is a dark image. You see how they tried to lighten up the image? So that's why you say he looks Commission. He looks Commission. And then they got to explain why he might look Commission. Oh, well, when in Rome, do what Rome does. Man, body bag. Body bag for the illusion. Body bag. We breaking through the illusion. So this is what they seeing in Kemet, in the temple. But he's going to go further.
Right, I'm looking around, typically Commissioned. All looks. So Hakim would use the expression, well, you know, Stephen, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. He's living in Kemet. He's going to pass in Kemet, so he's betraying himself as a Commission. So I said, well, Papa, this is great, but I can't go with this in front of an academic audience. They'll laugh me off the stage. There's nothing here to identify with the culture we're talking about. But then there was a keeper like this gentleman here, was here, didn't speak any English, but saw that I was perplexed. He said, come here. This then was boarded up with just a wooden door. And there was latches there. He threw away the wooden slabs, opened the door, and he said, look up. And that is the key.
In Kemet. Now those that is studying up on the codexes already understand this is straight up Maya. This got nothing to do with Kemet. This got nothing to do with anything in so-called Africa. And he's going to go a little further on that. This is America.
Took a picture in 1997.
It's come from the West.
Sent to Gatekeeper Hanbat's men. He said he recognizes this as the language of the Itza people, whereas Chichen Itza, he said, is an ancient language. But a lot of people are not sure about Hanbat's men. So we went one step further. In 2010, I got to meet Don Alejandro Sur Ojaj. He is the wisdom keeper, the head of the Quiche Maya of all of Guatemala. I showed him this picture, and his eyes went as big as saucers. And he said to me, that is the language of my ancestors. That is a calendar. That is telling the date of when Maya was here. And how we can't read it, he can't even still read it, but he knows that the circles and squares of different colors, arrangements, and the spokes in the wheel are indications of a date. So, this has never been discussed by any Egyptologist. They cannot put this in a Commission context. There is nothing, or maybe there is others that Yusuf has seen, but there's nothing like this in the rest of Egypt. So, Mayan elders recognize this. as part of their culture. So now the key is, Maya, the word, is a title. Men and women have the title. Very interesting, because we've talked about the difference between Egyptian, Arabic, and other Arabic.
Listen up.
In Egypt, one of the key words for water is Maya. It is not pronounced the same way in any other Arabic country. If you went to Saudi Arabia, they would say Ma or Meh. Only in Egypt is it pronounced Maya, and it means water. So I asked Hakim, could the title Maya actually have meant he who came from across the water, or ones who came from across the water? He said yes. So here is what we call diffusionism.
Okay. Whatever. Maybe it does, maybe it don't. But that is interesting that the name for water in Egypt, and only in Egypt, is Maya. I was thinking about this the other day, Moshe. And, I believe it says in Exodus 2 that he's called Moshe because he was found, in water, had something to do with water. And so they're in so-called Egypt. Moshe is named, his name after water is Maya. And, I don't know. Obviously, they both start with M. But whatever that mem is, whatever that is, whoever is the philologist, the language people might be able to link whatever this title Maya is with the title Moshe that was given. And how these things are now linking up in America. We're going to get a little deeper into that. But this is Maya in Kemet, and let's go a little deeper. Let's go.
Archaeology, diffusionism, anthropology, saying that there had to be cultural contact between these individuals thousands of miles across the sea. And this is the evidence that Hakim told us that there was a Mayan living in Egypt 3,300 years ago. Let somebody else define that for me and tell me that that is Cometian or Egyptian or dynastic or anything else.
Alright, so this is real small, so let me get this. Piece to drop nation. What's popping? Alright, this is what it say. And y'all can pull this up. You got the link in front of you. You pull it up so you can read it. Alright, this particular joint says, like the Mayas, the Egyptians regarded the West as the region of darkness, the place where the souls of the dead return to the bosom of their ancestors in the realms of Amenti. There, King Osiris sat on the throne in the midst of the waters. There also it was that Thoth. I can't make this. I'm not trying to keep bringing you back to Thoth. Didn't I keep saying Thoth keep popping up to me? Thoth is mess. Didn't I say that? The whole Thoth series, I was done with Thoth. And now I got to keep getting thoughts. I got thoughts. I keep getting thoughts. What does it say? Let's back it up. Like the Mayas, alright? The Egyptians regarded the West as the region of darkness, the place where the souls of the dead returned to the bosom of their ancestors in the realms of Amenti. Where the souls of the dead returned to the bosom of their ancestors in the realm of Amenti. The place where the souls of the dead returned to the bosom of their ancestors. So they knew that their ancestors are from the West. Body bag for the illusion. Body bag for the illusion. Are you getting that? Read it yourself and see if you're going to come to that. Like the Mayas, the Egyptians regarded the West as the region of darkness. Alright, so for them, it was darkness because this was Atlantis and Atlantis was sunk. So the Egyptians over there are Thoth and the fallen angel Justice League putting the slave vibration now on the indigenous Cometians, right? And they are now regarding the West as what? The region of darkness, because that's where they were just sunk. Atlantis was sunk, so that's darkness to them. You were freed. You were being subjugated on, right? So it's a rejoicing thing for you, but for them it's darkness. It's always flip-flop for, you know what I'm saying, that which is your enemy, you know, or opposing you, your opposition. The place where the souls of the dead return to the bosom of their ancestors in the west, in the realm of Amente, okay? There King Osiris sat on a throne in the midst of the waters. There also it was that Thoth, Ra, or the Eye of Ra, Tahuti, you know what I'm saying, Thoth, performed his office of scribe. All right, so you're picking up the emerald tablets. He performed his office of scribe. We read tablet 1 and 8 of the emerald tablets about the slave vibration. All right, was then the worship of Phallus, that phallus. I'm getting that phallus out of there, but you read it, you know, Cynocepfal. I guess that's an NS. Cynocephalus, the worship of the Cynocephalus, his totem, brought to Egypt from the lands of the west. So you're talking about the phallus. Look it up. I guarantee you're going to get to a phallus. All right. So was then the worship of the Cynocephalus, his totem, brought to Egypt from the lands of the west. All right. So it was already in the west. All right. Now it's being brought there. All right. Now we see this phallus all over the place. Of the gods, says of the gods of men, Pythagoras borrowed his knowledge of numbers and their meanings from the Egyptians. So borrowed what? He stole his knowledge from the fallen angel Egyptians, right? Just because these Egyptians were the Atlanteans. The people were not Egyptians. The Egyptians are the Atlanteans. That's why Egypt does not equal Kemet. Everybody knows that. They separate that. That's the fallen angel Nephilim situation. That's the Thoth situation. These are entities, celestial entities, underneath the firmament. They are in the lower heaven, the lower world. They exist lower than the vibrational layer that separates the waters from the waters. Right? The higher octaves, that is what you tune to in the throne of Heya. I am, that existence. That's your everlasting consciousness. That's when you wake up and you say, okay, I am conscious. The first real question when you're awake is, well, whose consciousness am I in? And can I ever escape it? You know, my camera's flipped, so I know I've been yelling at you over here, but I'm talking to all y'all. Drop Nation. I'm giving a speech. Do you understand me? All right? Nah, I got you. So then we realize, all right, so I'm in a conscious, so it can only be the order of the conscious I'm in. There is no consciousness outside of the consciousness I am in. I am in a tent, right? The Most High stretched it out, Shammai, right? He stretched it out like a tent to live in. So if we live in a tent, where do you think you're going to go? They still say they can't figure out how to get past the Van Allen belt, yet we went to the moon. But they still don't know how to get past the Van Allen belt. They still can't get out. They can't get out. I mean, you know, they got little portals and little celestial superhighways, and they can travail space and time, but space and time only exists underneath the firmament, the dome, the vibrational layer. Above it, there is no space and time. So you're born into space and time. You're born into sine. You're born into sin. Sine, cosine, y equals cosine x, whatever that equation is for space and time, that cosine, that sine, you're born into space and time. Sine, S-I-N-E or S-I-N, sin, you're born into it. You're born into the slave vibration of the artificial grid from the artificial harmonics that are these pyramids built to the celestial, built for the harmonics of the celestial, not built for Heya Heya. Heya Heya don't need help with his harmonics. Heya Heya don't need help with his harmonics on his earth that he creates for you. He created an earth for you, and they come down doing their own thing. These scribes, this Thoth, right? This Tahuti. You know what I'm saying? These people that are, in the order of the dweller. This is just Lucifer, man, whatever you want to call it. This is just that order, right? But Lucifer, again, has to report to Ea. Just like in Job, he's walking to and fro. He has to come back and say, what's up, man? I've been walking to and fro, jamming people up, right? He always has to report back. He's in order. You're not in order. Lucifer's in order. He's whooping your ass until you get in order. And does he have order over you once you're in order? Or does he just have order over the chaos? Right? So this is just dropping it, man. Since Pythagoras borrowed his knowledge. Let's take it from the top, because this is a powerful piece. Click on that link for Tyrone Street. You can get the documentation. You know what I'm saying? He always has the links up. Like the Mayas, the Egyptians regarded the West as the region of darkness, the place where the souls of the dead returned to the bosom of their ancestors in the realms of Amenti. There King Osiris sat on the throne in the midst of the waters. There also it was that Thoth performed his office of scribe. Was then the worship of the Sinaphalis, his totem, brought to Egypt from the lands of the West, of the gods of men. Pythagoras borrowed his knowledge of numbers and their meanings from Egyptians. These received their science from the Mayas. Man, pull it up, man. I don't know what to tell y'all. I know this is small. Maybe you got some special zoom or something. Maybe go like that. Yeah. Maybe you can see a little better like this. Or not. I don't know. I don't know. That's a small font. It's a small font, man. I wish I could. I really want you to see it. Alright. I don't know what else. Right there. Yeah. Just read that paragraph right there. Okay, pause it, read it. Alright. Alright. So, this is cold word. This is tying everything together, man. Tyrone Street, you a bad motherfucker, man. You're a cold turkey, man. I just want to tell you, man. Nah, man. Love to you, bro. It says, these received, so the Pythagoras borrowed his knowledge of numbers and their meanings from the Egyptians. These, the Egyptians, received their science from the Mayas, those civilized strangers, their ancestors, who in remote ages, coming from the east and from the west, had settled and brought civilization to the banks of the Nile. I'll say it again. These received their science from the Mayas. The Egyptians received their science from the Mayas. Those civilized strangers, their ancestors. Remember, we started here in America. Thoth says in Emerald Tablet number 8 that he set up the 18th dynasty as Tutmosis III with the 6th king of the 18th dynasty, and that's what was set up in Kemet. But all the dynasties before that were right here, man. All of them. Then they set up the 18th dynasty, the 6th king Tutmosis III. That's when you got it popping there. So he's saying that, look, man, these were our ancestors. These received their science from the Mayas. The Egyptians received their science from the Mayas. Those civilized strangers, their ancestors, who in remote ages, coming from the east and from the west, had settled and brought civilization to the banks of the Nile. Such being the case, it is but natural that we should find the same doctrine regarding cosmogony, and the meaning of numbers in Maya. Their mother country is the lands of the West. I'll read that last part again. Such being the case, it is but natural that we should find the same doctrine regarding cosmogony, which is all the celestial stuff, right? And the meaning of numbers, numbers in Maya, their mother country is the lands of the West, right? So when you got all the celestial stuff, this relationship right here he's bringing is after the hijack, right? So you got the hijack, the fallen angels, the celestial, worshiping all this stuff within the firmament. not worshiping that which has created these things, but worshiping these particular entities and principalities and all these forces and forces and forces. And the Most High said, I breathe directly into you. You are my direct energy transfer flow. You need no hijack. You need no other principle, palities, and nothing. You need me. You need me. You have me. You are in the throne of me. Connect to me. Remember me. You have a covenant with me. You know what I'm saying? That's just as simple as it gets. It's direct with us. Other people had to go other ways. He never knew them. He gave you laws. They were lawless. What are you going to do with it? I can give it to you, but what? All right. Last minute here. This might be the last drop. We'll see. Hey, man. Hey, why not? All right. What's that saying? So this is going to be a poster of 35 heads of Danzanti stone slabs in Monte Alban, Oaxaca, predominantly Negroid. So this is, I believe, in Mexico, circa 500 BC. Or could be South America or Mexico, one of them. So this is what they're finding, circa around 500 BC. All these Negroid heads and faces and all this kind of stuff like that. Again, copper color races, all that kind of stuff. The Egyptians are here. They found everything here. They found, like Lex will drop, one group of, pilgrims or, people trying to investigate in the 1800s might encounter a whole nother tribe that's not even, got nothing to do with another tribe, but they're writing about them as if, oh, well, no, the people of the West could not be Israel because but they are talking to a whole nother tribe of people, and then somebody else would come across and see that these people have the same customs, the circumcision, and all this other stuff, and say, oh, well, it's unmistakable. These are clearly the lost tribes. But they're talking to a different tribe. So you can't just take one book and say, oh, okay, yeah, well, this person found some Indians and they said that they got nothing to do with Hebrews. Well, they encountered a whole nother tribe of Hebrews or a whole nother tribe of indigenous melanated people, and somebody else encounters another one. So, you know what I'm saying? You're going to find information all over the place. But look at these faces. It's right in your face. Huh. Like that. I like that. I like that. Alright. I want to get all this because this king, everything he puts out is important, man. Real talk. It says, this is very important. It says the Maya sages doubtless had reached similar conclusions since they called their country Maya. Whoa, Mayat. Don't they got Maya? Whoa. Hey, somebody just sent me that because that wasn't part of my program. And I don't know. But dang, it sure sound, Maya. Does Maya have anything to do with Maya? Is all I'm trying to say. Could Maya have anything to do with Maya? I'll just leave it at that. The Maya sages doubtless had reached similar conclusions since they called their country Maya. That is, the land first emerged from the bosom of the deep. I told you, these records are showing, and there's many records are showing that America, after this first flood or whatever flood, popped up before the land of Africa popped up, so-called Africa. So that's why the civilizations was on and popping here already. And that became other fertile land later, right? So it says the land first emerged from the bosom of the deep. The country of the shoot of the Egyptians, according to Herodotus, boasted that their ancestors in the lands of the West were the oldest men on earth. I'll say that last part again. The country of the shoot, whatever that shoot is italicized, and the Egyptians, according to Herodotus, boasted that their ancestors in the lands of the West were the oldest men on earth. All right, so the Egyptians, according to Herodotus. And you're going to see an image right here. It's like a painting. And it's showing a African student and a American master teacher. And it's an image, which is very interesting. African student, American master teacher. Is that melanated, right? Right? Two different, a little different tones, you know what I'm saying? One might be more red, copper colored red. One might be more, you know, blue, red, blue, purple type of, you know what I'm saying? So we have different shades and different, you know what I'm saying, you know, phenotypes, all that kind of stuff. So you got two melanated people, and he is teaching because this person comes from a land that predates this person. This person's pyramids predates this person's pyramid. You know what I'm saying? However, we understand it's a hijack. But even this needs to be understood, because we got our brothers leaning towards Africa as if that's the cradle of civilization, when these documentations coming out that know it's the other way around. This is the old world. This is the cradle of civilization. They just have us subconsciously going to another land. Because what happens when we subconsciously start to go or say we are from another land? What happens when you subconsciously give up your land? What happens when Kendrick Lamar does an excellent performance and at the very end you see a big picture of Africa with Compton in the middle? Now you have subconsciously completely been defeated. Because if they took your land away, they took your nation away. Because without your land, there's no nation. You don't have land in so-called Africa. You have land right here. You are related to this. Negro. No. Yes. No. Yes. Negro. Now, our people fell to Baal. They fell to the feathered serpent. They fell to that same slave vibration. That Tahuti stuff, he said he had 1,000 life cycles. So, you know, he got them. And this is all that Luciferian, go after that light, right? Go after the light of Lucifer. It's all good. Get your enlightenment. But that enlightenment only goes so far. That enlightenment only connects you below the vibrational layer. And then Thoth says in Tablet 8, he has to run his ass off from the hounds of the barrier. Because if he gets too close to the barrier, he will be subjected to judgment. If these hounds catch him, they catch you for judgment. They keep you, no more life cycles, no more going back and forth, Thoth. No more traveling space and time, Tahuti. No. You got to be held to judgment, the hounds of the barrier. So they got to go in circles, because the hounds of the barriers go in angles, right? So what shape is subject to the angles? It's the square. So they have to circle the square. They have to go in circular patterns to get out to, you know, moving. They have to go in circular patterns in which angles don't even exist to outrun the hounds. And the hounds better not catch them before they get back into their bodies, or else they're going to be, their soul has been taken into judgment. So it's a very dangerous game they play, but they have to outrun the hounds of the barrier. Who are the hounds? These are the angels protecting your vibrational barrier that connects to your throne in your father's house. Your child can walk in your room at any minute. You're the king of your castle, right? Or the queen of your castle. So your child has access to the throne, just like you have access to Heya. They cut your access off. They cut your vibration. They told you you're from Africa and you've forfeited all of your land, your resources. They're fighting over gold mines they're just now finding in the Grand Canyon. It's FBI got all that stuff surrounded, man. You can't go nowhere near the Grand Canyon right now. Not in certain areas. They're finding new gold mines. Whose gold is that? Oh, no. It's not yours. You're from Africa. You don't understand that the gold is here, man. The resources are here. Everybody loves it here. Look around. Whose land is it? Oh, no, it's not yours. You're from Africa. But then you're going to say, oh, well, we're all melanated brothers. Is that how tribal works? Is that how... Open a history book, a real history book. Just research history and tell me, does it work like that? We're just a melanated family. Did it work like that? Or was this tribal war? After these, this knowledge was passed, could he go back and it be all good? Or did he have to still fight Canaanites and any other Amorites or any other ites that are trying to take away from what they got? And then they got to go back and fight all they people, the Nubians and all this other stuff like that. It was tribal warfare. You are the last tribe to wake up. Israel. Everybody looking at you like, hey, you just now starting to get it. Good. But damn, that's not a good thing for me. Because now all my skeletons will be revealed. Because you're going to know everything that we did to keep your eyes closed. So let me read this one more time. The Maya sages doubtless had reached similar conclusions since they called their country Maya. That is, the land first emerged from the bosom of the deep, the country of the shoot. And the Egyptians, according to Herodotus, boasted that their ancestors in the lands of the West were the oldest men on earth. All you, I'm talking to Drop Nation. The oldest men on earth. You, Negro. Now, isn't that coming out in other substantiating evidence right now? That the copper color races here are the oldest indigenous people on earth? Don't the Moors, the Washita Moors right now are recognized in the United Nations as the oldest indigenous people on earth? Right here. Isn't that all substantiating? We got UN records and we got this brother's documentation. Are we getting it now? We got Lex Will dropping the Syria, Africa drop. That they came from Africa, not you. They came out and it took everything. They came out and got all the real resources outside. And they subjugated all the people in between. They're tracing back there. You're indigenous here. And that makes you rich. Because these gold mines belong to you. Didn't the Messiah say he's going to remind you that you're rich? That you're a rich people? So I hope we got time for one more little drop. Lex Will actually just dropped this, so I just want to drop it to continue the spirit of dropping. to continue sharing the process. This is a great, quick joint. Dropping the similarity between Egypt, geographically speaking, and America, geographically speaking. Now that we're understanding,
this will prove that America today,
now that we're understanding the connection between the Maya, right, and the sciences that are being passed back and forth. Now, was it hey, right? Of course, we understand this. If that was order, then 300 million of us wouldn't have been slaughtered. If they was in order, we would be thriving right now. But because we're in the conditions, when you see Chicago, Chirac, when you see these brothers getting killed live on Facebook, because we're in that condition, you got to understand, your ancestors did not have the drop. After a certain period of time, the majority of our ancestors did not have the drop. They fell. And we, the Most High said, man, I'm going to get at y'all for generations. And only because I named you, only because I gave my vibration and made my covenants, you know what I'm saying, with those that you never even, man, but I love these people. I made covenants with them. Man, you better be lucky I love Abraham, man. You better be lucky I love David. Woo! I have to remind myself that you guys are related to the people I love. It's how much we don't listen. We just don't listen. We still want to call ourselves Christians and everything else, and Muslims and everything else. And I'm not shooting no daggers and nothing. I mean, but when we're in it for truth right now, and when we have to unite right now, and we can't unite in a Christian and Muslim, then we come together at least as indigenous and we say, yo, we're rich. We are already unified. We are here together. What are you going to do about it? You've been invaded. You understand? You wake up, you realize you've been invaded. What's your natural reaction? When you wake up and you really realize you're on a plantation, what's your reaction other than to find a way off the plantation? But right now, no one has to put gates up or bars up because consciously you just want to fit in this kingdom. You don't want to walk out of this plantation. Harriet Tubman could not free most of y'all right now. Harriet Tubman couldn't free most of y'all right now. And she's an indigenous woman, which is why she knew all the routes, because she's from here. Because you were enslaved in your own land, just like Dr. King said. All right, so let's check this out. This is about 8 minutes, and we out. Make our dismount. Shout out to Truth Unveiled 777 and Lex Will that dropped it.
Now you may be wondering, why do I have a map of Egypt open right here, as you can see? Take a good look at Egypt, today's modern Egypt. What do you see? What is that giant river that flows down Egypt and is said to be the cradle of civilization? What gives Africa and mostly all of Egypt life? The Nile River. And as you can see, it flows all the way down. All the way down. And you see, much of civilization started with this river, as all these cities are all based around the river, including Thebes. But what else do you see? On this river, you see that about 30% of the land is separated to the east, and about 60 or 70% to the west of the river. Now, what else do you see on this river? You see a city called Memphis. And if I zoom in a little bit, it's just south of Cairo, Memphis, right here. Where else have I heard that before? Let's keep going. Okay, so if we go here, what is one of the longest rivers in America? Not the longest, but one of them. The Mississippi. Wow, just like the Nile for Egypt. And let's see if I can get a bigger map here. Wow, about 30% of the land is east of this river, and about the rest of the 60 is west. Just like Egypt. 30% over here, 60% over there. It's no different. But wait, you see this long river that gives America much life and substance? Just like the Nile in Egypt? What city do you see on this river that matches this one? Right here. Memphis. Where else have I seen Memphis before? Oh yeah. Memphis, Tennessee, right here. Wow. Memphis right there on the Mississippi River. Just like Memphis, Egypt on the Nile River. Is that a coincidence? No, that cannot be a coincidence. But you want to know what else? What else is so interesting about this? Is that here is Giza, which is very close to Memphis. And as you can see, here's the pyramids of Giza, here's the Sphinx, and all of ancient Egypt, as they like to call it, the cradle of civilization. Is there a pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee? Yes, there is, right here. And look, it's right off the water. Look, it's right off the Mississippi River, right there. There it is. There you see it. You see a pyramid right here in Memphis, in the Mississippi right here, just like you see the ancient pyramids right here, right close, right next to the Nile River. In the city that's on the Nile called Memphis, in Africa's longest river, the river that gave life civilization, just like the river that gives America civilization right here, the Mississippi. And you see Memphis right there on that river. Wow, is that a coincidence? Doesn't look like it. So it looks like to me that, in fact, America is ancient Egypt all over again, because I see a pyramid right here in America today. But that's not all. Where else do we see more facts and proof of ancient Egypt here in America today? Well, let's keep going. As we see here, we're back in Memphis, we're back at the pyramid. Look who's there! They have a statue of Ramses the Great right in Memphis, right in front of the pyramid. Wow! An ancient pharaoh that was probably worshipped as a god back then, right in front of the pyramid, in current day, modern day Memphis, Tennessee. Just like they have the Sphinx right in front of the pyramids of Giza, close to Memphis, Egypt. Wow, is that a coincidence either? It doesn't look like it, but let's keep going. According to this map, if we go a little bit south, we can find the Luxor, which is in about this area here of modern-day Egypt. It's still on the Nile. Now, why is that important? Because Luxor is, in fact, an ancient city in Egypt, in an ancient area. And as we see Heliopolis right here, what does that mean? The sun. It has to do with reference to the sun. Where else do we see a pyramid in today's Egypt, America, with the Luxor? I know. The Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas. This is a picture of the ancient city of Luxor, and look at what you see. You see a big phallic symbol, the obelisk, which is a phallic symbol, and is embedded with sun worship and Nimrod worship and ancient god worshiping, and is in fact abominable with ancient statues and everything else. But where else do you see a pyramid and the Luxor? Here in Las Vegas. I see a pyramid right here in Las Vegas. And I see a Sphinx here in Las Vegas as well. Wow, is that a coincidence? Could this be telling me that America is in fact modern day Egypt? Yes, it is. Because I see a pyramid here in Las Vegas. I see pyramids all over the place. I see a pyramid here in Memphis that's on the Mississippi River, just like Memphis, Egypt on the Nile River. I see it here with the statue of Ramses the Great in Memphis, Tennessee. Just like in Memphis, Egypt, they have the Sphinx in front of the pyramids right near the Nile. And as you can see here, or here, the Mississippi River. Wow, and they have a Sphinx right here. And a pyramid right behind it. Wow, what does that piggyback off of? This. It's the same thing, and it's in Las Vegas. Wow, the city of sin. Is that interesting? It's also parallel in the piggyback ride of the city of lights, just like Paris. And by the way, the Eiffel Tower is not pretty when you know that it is in fact a phallic obelisk representing sun worship, just like Las Vegas, just like Memphis. Wow, and they both represent Egypt. Indeed. What are your thoughts? Nothing is a coincidence, especially when the Most High Yahuwah said that his children would be enslaved in Egypt again for 400 years. When did slavery start in today's Egypt and in what's known as America? The year 1619. So within the next 400 years, in the year 2019, which is in what? In 4 going on 3 years from now, slavery in America will be over with. The 400 years will be over with. And what happened to Egypt after their slavery? After the Hebrew Israelites, the true Israel, were enslaved? The 10 plagues of Egypt, judgment. And you don't think that's going to happen again in America? Think again. You don't think that's going to happen in today's modern Egypt? Today's modern Egypt? Think again.
All right, so that kind of reminded me, you know, I'm just surfing a wave. I was going to end right there. My battery might go out. I'm just going to try to go super fast. That reminded me of my man Hallway CH, man. Hold up. I'm going to try to go quick. My man Hallway CH. Always dropping that drop. Dropped, you know what I'm saying, about the 400 years really being 394. So that was just the perfect lead in to my man. I'm trying to find my man Hallway CH, so I can just go right into it. I don't even want to do too much talking now, y'all. Here it is. All right, man. King's been doing great work, man. Great work. So, you know, whenever you drop, bro, it's always power, man. So hopefully I got enough battery for this release to get him as much out of it. But we're dropping on that 400 years. She said 1619 began the 400 years of captivity. His brother's gonna break it down real cold, man. King.
Sorry for my voice. I'm kind of sick. This was kind of a random thingy, but I was watching, as usual, the kingdrop video. And after...
Alright, let's get it right.
So this is like... Sorry for my voice. I'm kind of sick. This was kind of a random thingy, but I was watching, as usual, the kingdrop video. And after I got around
I watch your videos
and, scroll down,
more than that, man.
And I saw this woman. She was asking about the 144,000. And then when I read that, I mean, when I saw that number, I was like, whoa, I've been doing some research in this book. I read all of it. I took notes. Can you see? Yeah, notes. It's like this whole notebook is full of notes on this. But yeah, I was like, whoa. And in one of the calendar units, notes on the calendar, when I got to it, what was it? The Maya calendar. I remembered the Baktun, right? And a Baktun is 20 Katun, which is 20 sets of 20 years. I don't know, but it equals 144,000 days. So I was like, okay, 144,000 days translates to 395 solar years, which is a year. So then when I read 395, I remembered Genesis 15 and 13, right? With the King James. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And I got to thinking, okay, it is easier to round it up to 400 because nobody wants to walk around saying 394, 394. Plus, that'd be a dead giveaway. So, after this, something else sparked in my head. I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't actually 400 years, but 394 like the Mayan calendar. And that's why 144,000 is so vibrant in our minds. So then, oh, this will come later. Then I remembered this video from Lex. He was talking about, basically, a boy was born in 2013. And his name was Messiah, and the judge ordered him to change his name. Now, there's plenty of people that name their children Messiah, but this case became public for some reason, and it was no coincidence, right? So then I went to slavery to see when it started, and I knew when it started or whatever, but the oldest day in this, the first 19 or so Africans, blah blah, we know we're not Africans, but in 1619, right? So 400 years from 1619, hold up, I got the calculator. Alright, standard calculator. I got the calculator because I'm not trying to screw up my math, right? This is a weird little setup. So we know that 1619 plus 400, where's the other zero? 100 equals 2019, right? And we know we're in 2016, as you can see in that calendar, right? I mean, on my little thingy. But if you subtract 6 from 2019, and this is just rounding the last point, 26 in the Baktun 394 year. If you subtract 6, then you have 2013, right? And it just goes to show,
wow,
that this is also no coincidence. The page messed up, but so this is like, sorry for my voice, I'm kind of sick. This was kind of a random thingy, but I was watching, as usual, the kingdrop video. Remnant, I mean, he is in an, it means the people who were .26, which would be 2013 was when we were free, and 144,000 equals 394, and that also brings me to,
okay, just want to get that last part back. This King's doing a great job, man, and you know what I'm saying, go watch Lex Wood's last, I think, video, last couple of them. He's going to touch on the same kid named Messiah, born in 2013. So the same wave is being surfed right here. I know Lex is going to laugh, man, right when he gets this, because it's going to, he got corroborating straight up evidence in the Baktuns of the Mayan themselves. Breaking down 394, not 400. The Europeans just rounded it up to 400. So we're like, oh, I guess we're going to have the end of the world in 2019. Nah. Your time was up in 2013. Your time was up in 2013. You're free to go. Exit their man-made cities and recover your wilderness and recover your freedom. Leave their currency. Leave their shit. Get your families and do it before your cities are encompassed with armies. They already are. Before they start kicking down your doors and forcing needles in your kids and creating all this martial law environment. The King Alfred's plan, research that. We just dropped some on it. Go back to that radio show. So come on, we got a few more minutes on this.
when it says in Revelations 14, I'm not even going to click this, but then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb, standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their forehead. That doesn't mean people. That means those who were enslaved for the 144,000 days, which were the 400 years, or if rounded in the Mayan, 394.26. Which would be 2013 was when we were free. And from like the actual mental bondage, they don't have us in a mental bondage anymore. So it's kind of like a mass awakening or something. We are still, technically, we're only still here because we choose to be. We could go out there any moment now, but...
Bang. That drop you just kicked, Young King, is the equivalent to every minute of every video I ever put out, any part of any radio segment I ever did. You just said it all. That's the entire drop. That's the entire Exodus. That's Harriet Tubman kicking you in your ass saying, get off the plantation. You have a wilderness you can build there. You're protected. Your gold has been protected. Everything's protected. How? I don't know. But what I do know is what I see and what we see coming and what we see in our water and what we know is in our water and what we see above in the skies. We know that. We know that's for real. So the stuff that we don't know, we just don't know. I don't know what's waiting, but I do know what's coming here, right? We know that shit for sure. We see the tanks rolling in. Let go.
But, yeah, this isn't an amount of people or a chosen few. It's mainly, it means the people who were enslaved for this, like the remnant, not remnant, but I guess you could say remnant, because when they came over here and slaughtered all our people down to extinction, we are the remnant. Like everybody who's still alive today that happens to be Negro is a descendant of those who were slaughtered. So that is a...
And we don't go around saying, oh, we are almost extinct, but we are almost extinct. And we are just kind of getting our numbers back into the, whatever, tens of thousands. But we used to be hundreds of millions. I mean, tens of millions. But we used to be hundreds of millions strong here. Hundreds of millions strong here. So for the fact that I got documentation, we got documentation from the 1800s of them saying, man, the Negro is almost extinct. But we're not taught that we're almost extinct. We're taught that we're African. And how can we be almost extinct if we're African? I was thinking again about Exodus 2 and when I was reading it. And go back and check out that, man, the Sefer, the Exodus. Shema. Shemot. And how when Pharaoh's daughter, found Moses, she had to get a Hebrew woman to nurse Moses. Now, if we're all just African, if we're all this melanated family, why did she specifically need a Hebrew mother to nurse the Hebrew boy? Why did she need a Hebrew mother to nurse the Hebrew boy as if he was another species, as if it was a polar bear? Or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even black mothers nurse white babies, right? Didn't the black mammy have to nurse the white babies? So that's not weird, right? I mean, there's no reason why an Egyptian woman couldn't be able, a black woman can't nurse a black boy. What's the problem? Why did she have to go find a Hebrew mother to nurse him? What is so lively about the Hebrew mother? What energy are we talking about here? These are the questions that we ask when we wake up. This brother's kicking real drop, man.
Everybody has potential. It's not like some people from your family are going to be saved. They need to listen, but if they don't, that doesn't mean they're not the remnant. I mean, he is thinning the herd to see who's true to, his true to heart to him. I don't think I worded that right, but we are the remnant, because if they took us down from 300 million down to 5 million, we are extinct.
Dang.
Almost. Then everybody who's still alive today is a remnant. And so you can watch this video. You guys have probably seen it already. And yeah, 2013 was actually when it ended, not 2019. And so just to sum it up, right? Because I think I've been pretty confusing this whole time.
You did
the 400
great
years
job, my man.
in where is it? The 400 years in this verse, Genesis 15, verse 13. My bad. When it says 400 years, it's just a rounded estimate. It really translates to 394 years, which is why 144,000 is brought up later on. And that also is a Mayan unit, Baktun, from the Mayan. And we know we're Maya. We know that we're Mayan because Mayan were here. They had priests. The whole setup, you can watch some kingdrop videos on that. That the Mayan are the Negro. The Maya are the Negro people. And if their unit has this in it, then, you should also read this book, the prophecies of the book of Shalom Shumael. It's like a bunch of prophecies. Now, you do have to discern the included false doctrine of the Christians, because, when they translated it, they had to toss in But you should know because, oh, I clicked the wrong one. You should know because, as I've read in a previous, hold on, let me pause it. Okay, in a previous video I made, we know that although they were mingling the text with their like false doctrine, still he who comes of our lineage will know it, one of us who are Maya men. So you should know it, because if you are the lineage, you will understand it. And also, not only that, but in Prophecies of a New Religion, it says, although all this is, you know, correct and not all incorrect, but, you know, intermingled, who will be the prophet? Who will be the priest who shall interpret truly the word of the book? So one of you guys might be the prophet or the priest who truly interprets, you know, the work of the book. It could be any one of us. But if you're true to the Maya men, you'll know, you'll understand it. So basically, this Messiah guy was the sign that the 400 years, aka 394 years, or 144,000 days, has ended. He was the sign. And as said also in Lex's video. And the 144 mentioned in Revelations is not talking about a set number of people. It's talking about those who were free from the enslavement of the 144,000 days. So with that said, I'm going to end it now.
Wow, powerful.
But yeah, I do highly recommend that you read the book of Balaam Chumael in the sacred text under Native American. And yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I hope you this is just a theory, but it seems too like good to be true, you know, like, so I don't know. I'm going to end it here though, and if you find anything else, just
surf the wave.
Spread the information.
Ooh, surf the wave, man. Surf the wave. I love it. I love it. Kings to Hallway CH, man. Beautiful family, man. All right. You know what I'm saying? My battery's about to go out. But I love y'all, man. And this is what we're getting. So we can walk out at any time. Our time is done. Our bid is up, right? That's the power we have. That's the collective energy we have that's dragging us out of the chaos, out the illusion. So, you know what I'm saying? We're remembering. This is our land. We've been enslaved on a land that, you know what I'm saying, we become strangers on our own land. That's why it says, oh, you know what I'm saying, you'll be back in captivity on a land that's not yours. Well, it's yours, but not consciously, right? You're on your land, but not consciously, so it's not yours. You are enslaved in the land that's not yours, because consciously you're in Africa. I'm saying stay up, suit up, and choose up. Love y'all. And you're going to see this drop in Egypt. He's going to take you to, you know what I'm saying, the temple, and you're going to see the Maya recordation in their temple. Wow. These were the teachers going over there teaching them high sciences from America. Negro science. Lego.
Of Maya. Stephen, please.
Well, this is a chapel or a temple of Maya. Now, the Maya was a title, not a name, of both men and women throughout dynastic times. This particular era is around the 18th dynasty, the time of the so-called King Horemheb. Now, the key thing here is 1997, Hakim came to the United States to California. My research partner, Bob Butter, and I met him for a couple of weeks, and we discussed. One of the things he discussed on a return trip to Egypt in September of 1997 would be, he said, he would show us evidence of a Mayan temple in Egypt.
Mayan as in culture.
Exactly. And I said, this I never heard of. No, it's not in any text. No one has ever mentioned it. Okay, we came here. This was arranged differently then. A lot of this is new construction. It was not this way in 1997. First of all, I looked on the wall. Behind you, you see.
And how, you know what I'm saying, he's digging up documentation. I'm just sharing his drop on these Egyptian, you know what I'm saying, records or, recordations of how they were calling these Maya, that which we are calling Maya, they were calling them their teachers. They were learning their information from the West. When we understand the oldest pyramids are here, the Grand Canyon will tell you that. The oldest pyramids are in Mexico. The largest pyramids on earth, almost 3 times the size of the Pyramid of Giza, is in Mexico. So why are we so enamored by this pyramid across the ocean when we got a pyramid in America, 2 of them, that are larger and older than the ones in Kemet? So if the oldest joints are here, then this is the old world. That's why these records are saying that this is the land that popped up first after the first flood. That it popped up before the land of Africa popped up. So everything got popping here, and the biblical stories and all that happened here.
That is Maya, but he looks typically commissioned. Right. I'm looking around, typically commissioned. All looks. So Hakim would use the expression, well, Stephen, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. He's living in Kemet. He's going to pass in Kemet, so he's portraying himself as a Commission. So I said, well, Papa, this is great, but I can't go with this in front of an academic audience. They'll laugh me off the stage.
I want to look at this image again, man. Hold on right quick. Let me back it up. I want to pause it on this image.
The expression, well, Stephen, when in Rome, see, that is Maya, but he looks typically commissioned.
Let me turn my brightness up. I want you to see the image. Let's meditate on that. Do you see the locks? Do you see the locks? Do you see the locks? Or do you see the lock, man? I said the 8 man locks in the Maya got locks. Maya got locks. Oh, the Maya got locks. 8 men, max men, and Maya got. Come on, man. Y'all see the locks, man? Hey, Alright. Drop Nation was good. This is, man, this new info, man, that we're just surfing this wave, man. I'm just so proud of all of y'all, everybody, man, that's been, fighting their families, you know what I'm saying? Like, this drop has been incredible, man. This wave has been incredible, and it has separated a lot of people, It makes you think you crazy when you telling people that, man, East is West and West is East, and what do you flip the map and the Biblioteca de Colombina Sevilla, you saying all this stuff. So, Kings, man, the Tyrone Street, that brother got the drop. And this is just, if you surfing this wave, man, you're just seeing this coming from all angles. I don't know what Tyrone Street talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about, but we do. But we're just dropping the drop, and it's all substantiating drop. One of the dopest comments I've ever gotten thus far has been a brother saying that, man, I've never seen brothers and sisters and, come together in the information the way we're witnessing all y'all come together. Hiram Martin, Lex Will, Let Us Find the Truth, Smooth Perspective, Hallway, CH, Winifred Holcomb, Smiles, everybody. Tyrone Street, and there's so many, I can't even, it's just popping up all over the place. I'm just so proud of the whole community. It's not about acknowledging X, Y, and Z. It's just, we're all acknowledging the whole. It's not about the individual anymore. Kingdrop is not separate from you. You're not separate from me, because we're saying the same thing. And now that we've dropped the whole Egypt, you checked out that whole Slave Vibration Thoth 6-part series. You checked out what Lex Will's dropped with the Peacock. You checked out, everything Lex Will's dropped, just nothing but bombs, man. Just check out his last drop with the Africa Assyria drop. Wow. The F's. Wow. Just check out Lex Will's last, at least 4 or 5 joints. Just get some popcorn, man, and just have a Lex Will marathon, have a Hiram Art marathon, and let us find the truth marathon. You gotta catch up, have a Smiles marathon, man. So check out Kings to you know what I'm saying, Tyrone Street. This king is dropping the Maya presence in Egypt.